Welcome to the broadcast, my fruits, for this first broadcast of the month. Yes, we are in June already, so it's time for me to remind you to press the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, or if you found yourself unsubscribed, but you meant to be, press the red button. Turn on notifications if you wish to receive alerts every time I broadcast. And for those of you that ask, my tip jar is in the description box if you would like to visit my Privy Purse and if you've been enjoying the broadcasts. With that said, can you believe that it has been only 3 or 4 weeks since the coronation, because it feels like a lifetime ago in many ways, but in other ways it's as if the world is on speed dial. It's zoomed this first half of 2023, hasn't it? Just zoomed. Isn't it the way? Strange paradox, but here we are in June. As you know, I'm going to be in misery because I am not a fan of the British summertime and I'm pining for September already. I'll try not to grumble too much about it, but you know how us Brits are, my dear. We do grumble about the weather. Most grumble about the rain. I grumble about the sun. But today it's actually not too bad. So for some reason, I thought that I would don my crown, which is very uncomfortable, as I've told you before, and I've kind of discarded it. But I know some of you rather like seeing me in it, and it's been several months since I've put it on, so I won't be able to raise my eyebrows much today, but I will try and get in a broadcast before taking it off. Today it is also 70 years precisely. Yes, this day 70 years ago was the moment when Queen Elizabeth II was crowned at her coronation. Today, those historical pictures, yes, Tuesday it was, Tuesday the 2nd of June 1953. And although we sorely miss the old school glamour of those days, thankfully we have the likes of the Princess of Wales to keep us in check. And Catherine indeed made an absolutely stunning appearance at the royal wedding of Jordan's Crown Prince Hussein, who is 28 years old, to his new wife, future Queen Rajwa Al Saif at 29. She is 1 year older than her prince, and she works as an architect. And of course, all eyes were on the mother of the groom, Queen Rania of Jordan, who is the epitome of grace, dignity, and royal spirit. Always immaculate. Not just in look and style, but also in character. She is absolutely wonderful. And she spends her life working and drawing attention towards many good causes. And she has spoken of how Queen Camilla does exactly the same. Very respectful she is. And she looked sensational in black Dior for part of the day. The dress code for this affair was formal and modest. Long sleeves essential, of course. And Catherine came through. She came through, yes, in this embroidered chiffon number in blush pink by the Lebanese designer Elie Saab, who seems to be the go-to in the region, and his clothes were also worn by the bride that day. And I loved this exquisite clutch that was toted by the princess, together with these huge pear-shaped earrings. Wonderful, gorgeous. There was an appearance from America's First Lady, who gained some praise for her iridescent mauve number, which I thought was very fetching, rather nice indeed. And the evening reception was full of sparkle and splendour, with tiaras and jewel-encrusted gowns. The bride wore a ball gown by Dolce & Gabbana, and Queen Rania wore a caped number, again by Elie Saab, together with the Arabic tiara. Catherine dazzled in Jenny Packham with wonderful shoulders in this number called The Georgia, blush pink, a glitzy, shimmering affair, and lover's knot tiara. And although I'm usually much more excited with the wardrobe for evening events and the glitz and the glam and the splendour, out of the 2 outfits Catherine wore, and I did love both of them, if I had to plump for a favourite, I would have actually gone for the day wear that she wore to the wedding itself. I thought that was a beautiful moment, really lovely. The colours were wonderful. She looked very nice together with William. What a very handsome couple they are. And in the evening it was nice to see that flash of lemon ribbon, wasn't it? Unlike my scarlet one today for King Charles III, she wore her lemon ribbon of her royal family order featuring Elizabeth II. And she honoured the late Queen by wearing earrings that were made in 1929, and later they were given to Princess Elizabeth by King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, as a wedding present in 1947. They are known as the Greville chandelier earrings. The Greville chandeliers, wonderful, from the lobes. Their design incorporates a lexicon of modern diamond cuts, including half moon, trapeze, square, baguette, baton, and emerald. And it was very nice to see a cameo appearance from Princess Beatrice. I know that I am not the only one, because I've seen in the comments and further afield that people are calling for a sort of reinstatement of Princess Beatrice, or perhaps her first real instatement as a true working royal. Perhaps King Charles is waiting for the right moment, which could be round the corner, it could be many years away. There is a lifetime ahead of the girl, but yes, we know she comes from a controversial family, but we also know that she is an immaculate girl and would make a splendid addition to the royal family if she were so brave as to take it on, because I'm sure she doesn't necessarily welcome the scrutiny that comes with it, but she deals with all those stresses and strains privately and with great dignity, unlike other members of the family. Doesn't make a show of it, does she? So it was very welcome to see her make this cameo appearance at the wedding, with a very well executed wardrobe. I don't have anything rotten to say about it. She wore this sequined number called Celia by Needle and Thread, and I thought it was absolutely lovely. I possibly wouldn't have added the black belt, but I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. She seems to like doing that thing with her waistline and making the addition of a belt. Originally, it did not come with that belt. I don't think she needed that belt, and I think it might have flown a bit better without it, but that was her judgment, and it's absolutely fine. But she has a splendid figure without it. This is the thing. So I would have preferred the cut of the dress to do the work, maybe get a bit of tailoring to do it, because sometimes she can break up the lines. That's my only quiz with her. Sometimes she can break up the lines, but perhaps it was the right thing. She also accessorized with her husband Edo, who is always on his best behaviour, seems to make a wonderful companion for the girl, and is very popular with some of you. Some of you will swoon at his sort of, I don't know, matinee idol-esque-ish, hint of the Robert Pattinson perhaps. Not to my taste, I've got to tell you, for those that have asked. Not to my taste. He's far too boyish for my taste. And if I had to plump between him and Jackie Brooksbank, I would go for Jackie Brooksbank. Not that I have a particular affection for him, but I did actually think that he looked quite appealing recently. We'll look at that in a moment. But yes, out of the two, I would go for Jackie. Jackie! Cute in a stupid-ass way. In the evening, she wore Reem Accra with the York tiara, and I think that flowed better. I thought it was absolutely wonderful, extremely regal, extremely royal. And Edo wore the Coronation Medal of King Charles III for the first time. And the other medal that he holds was from Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, and the Prince of Wales added the same Coronation Medal for his father to his collection of 3 other medals, also concerning previous jubilees of the late Queen Elizabeth. Of course, it was impossible for Princess Eugenie to attend because she is heavily pregnant. At the time of recording, she is reported to be in labour at this very moment. The mind boggles as to what's going on there. But by the time this comes out, a little brother or sister for Augie might also have come out of that royal exit or entrance. I suppose it has a dual purpose, doesn't it, my dear? But yes, a new royal, a new great-grandchild of the late Elizabeth will be flourishing in this world. Isn't that a wonderful thought? Once it's been cleaned up. She was last seen a few days ago wearing this blue smock. Actually, it's become something of a tradition, hasn't it, in the broadcast, to take a peek at what she's been wearing. So I'll rather miss that segment. It was rather jolly. But she was seen in this blue smock, a vision of prematernal grace there. Wonderful. With Jackie, who, as I say, I thought he looked very cool. I like him in that grey battered tee, as Amy Winehouse would call it, that battered tee. And jeans. Yes, I don't usually see anything especially overly appealing about the boy, but especially when he's wearing a suit like Harry, I don't think it does anything particular for him. But jeans and t-shirt looks great on it, doesn't it? A bit of rough, quite nice. So yes, I approve of that heartily. And they were carrying a bag of Dalesford Organics at Westbourne Grove, and I happen to know and love that area very well, including the organic shop. I recognised it immediately. It put me in mind, I wonder if they're going to be stocked up on carrots, because when my mummy was pregnant with not just me, but all of us, it was carrots. That was her craving of choice. You know how ladies get cravings? Carrots. She was like Bugs Bunny. But I will miss Eugenie's gestational style parade, I truly will. The king has arrived in Bucharest, Romania. It's rather interesting, yes. It's a private visit after this official welcome that he received, and he was met by the president, and there was a guard of honour and a reception. But then the king is going to be left alone because he spends an entire week in the hills and the remote landscapes of Transylvania. Every year he absolutely adores it. And this is a private visit. It is a rare moment for him in the year when he is able to restore and replenish. And it's very healthy for him to do so. You know, sometimes you have to get off the treadmill and be able to take stock and refocus and nourish your spirit and soul and be in nature. And we know he does that at every opportunity he can, with a reported walk alone in nature every morning, no matter how late his night and how early he rises. But yes, he'll be in Romania while Harry is giving evidence at his trial, so he won't be able to meet up with his son. Not that that would have been especially likely anyway. But yes, let's hope Backgrid don't turn up to snap him on one of his private walks. But unlike what happens with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, I would find that to be rather unlikely. But yes, he visits his village once a year, a particular village. He owns a guest house there, which you can rent out, by the way. I was looking at it today online. I've even been tinkering with the thought of paying it a visit, because it does look rather tranquil and beautiful and pre-industrial. And apparently the king is loved by the local community there, who say that he has no airs and graces. He comes there to spend time. Sometimes they will sing and dance for him, but it's very quiet, very tranquil. And I thought about looking into paying a visit to the place myself, because you can stay in his... I think there was some suggestion you can stay in the room. They rent out a room called Prince Charles' room, something along those lines. Thought that'd be it looks lovely as well. And they put on lovely, fresh, homemade food for people. So those of you that have got the travelling bug, I would say that it looks rather interesting. But for me, although I appreciate a day or so withdrawn from the hustle and bustle, I'm afraid any longer than 1 or 2 days, as much as I enjoy peace and tranquility, I need to be within walking distance of where there is some life and some hubble and bubble, because where this is located, you know, you have to travel, I think, several kilometres to reach the next village or shops. It's too contained for me, too off the beaten track. Some people love to switch off entirely, and this place has no television, no Wi-Fi, I don't think. So you can switch off in that way, but I wouldn't be able to do that for several days in a row. I would start getting antsy. I've got long legs and I like to walk. And one thing that I don't appreciate, and it has happened a few times here on holiday when I go to Devon or Cornwall, or often with family, and we end up in beautiful remote places and secluded spots, but I can't walk where I need to go, just for a daily look around a marketplace, or to speak to people, or to pick up a coffee, or browse some little shops. So for my personal taste, it wouldn't be quite right, but it looks very interesting, I've got to say, and rather lovely. Before he went away, there was a special parade and ceremony at Windsor Castle, and the King presented Royal Navy personnel with Royal Victorian Order honours in recognition of the role they played during the late Queen's funeral processions. Remember that? When they did such a wonderful job, where they were all honoured and celebrated for their dignified service. And the Queen made a very nice visit to the British Racing School, where she unveiled a plaque to mark its 40th anniversary. At the Newmarket Pony Academy, she watched as students groomed the horses before feeding one of the horses herself as a treat, and I'm sure she was in her element. One of those jaunts that I'm sure was no chore for the Queen. She loves being around the horses and those wonderful people. And I rather enjoyed this top of hers, this jacket over the floral dress with a sort of scalloped edging, if you will. Rather unusual, but I thought she carried it off with aplomb. And I have come to absolutely adore the jingle jangle of that bracelet around her wrist by Van Cleef & Arpels. I think it is so elegant on her. It suits her wrist. I love the little flash of blue. Lovely signature piece that I'm coming to know well in the way that one would look at the Queen's handbag and as her signature piece. You know, she's making her own little signature with this little flash of blue. Van Cleef & Arpels. I like it. The Princess Royal looked absolutely beautiful as she joined in with celebrations for the Royal Logistic Corps, of which she is Colonel-in-Chief. It is their 30th anniversary, and there was a Freedom Parade in Winchester, and she was welcomed with a royal salute before inspecting the parade, which involved over 500 personnel. The RLC provides logistic support functions to the British Army. Thank you for joining me today, my fruit crumbles. I know it's perhaps a shorter broadcast than usual, but I wanted to kick off the month with a sort of palate cleanser, if you will. We've had a lot of turbulence, well, over the past year or two, I suppose, but especially the last couple of months have been quite intense with the build-up to the coronation and then the coronation itself. But we've gotten through it, haven't we? And we've survived it, and now we're in a new month and can kick off again. But I wanted that little moment of palate cleansing, if you will, and to focus on some really nice royal goings on today with members of the royal family who are dignified and graceful and get on with the job. So there we are. I'm sure it won't remain that way for the rest of the month, because who knows what is round the corner. But just for today, we are going to keep things very royal, and also because this crown is extremely uncomfortable, that's another reason to keep today's broadcast short. So it was just a cameo from the crown. I'm sure it will return at some point, but not as a regular feature, aside from the fact that it's hard to move my expressions as well. But anyway, I know that it pleases some of you to catch a glimpse of it here and there. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time, dears. What day are we? Is it Wednesday or Thursday? I've lost it. It's gone. Well, enjoy what's left of whatever day it is, my dear. Thank you for your company and your good humour, and of course to those of you who have sent me a tip jar treat. It's very lovely of you, and I'll see you very soon. Ta-ra for now, my dears, and toodle pip.